almost here. We had wonderful weather for the last 2 weeks. It's a little rainy out today, but I saw some sunshine. Our first book today is called The Spring Thaw. It begins with a warm wind late at night, sighing through the hemlock trees. Swaying branches and shaking loose the heavy snow that fell all day and turned fields and frozen lakes and distant rooftops white. We did just have a snow like that not too long ago, didn't we? The old house begins to creak as wooden floors breathe in the warm, moist air. Water trickles from the roof. Drop, drop, drop. A raccoon stirs in its winter den, then climbs into the snow, its dark eyes shining in the white light of a rising moon. A round-bellied doe pauses at the edge of the woods, leaving behind heart-shaped footprints. I don't think I knew that. I have to go look for some footprints. We have deer in our backyard, do you? By morning, thin streams of water snake down the window panes. A cardinal sings from the branch of a pine tree and then darts across the barnyard to peck at the kitchen crumbs scattered over the melting snow. A wagon leaves the barn, its narrow wheels cutting deeply into the snow, turning it brown. The horse's hooves grow very muddy. Look at those big hooves. The sun climbs high into the blue sky. By mid-morning, 1,000 tiny streams run from the roof like a curtain of crystal beads. Suddenly, a thick sheet of snow breaks free, slides down the edge of the roof, and crashes to the ground. I love icicles. We used to go around and try to find the longest icicle. On a distant white hilltop, a patch of brown appears. A flock of geese settles upon it, pecking at the wet grass. Where the stream leaves the forest, the ice melts away. Black water ripples over gray stones, carving a glistening silver line across the meadow. All afternoon, the frozen lake echoes with the snapping and cracking of the ice surfaces. On the south side of the barn, the snow recedes, laying bare a small mountain of autumn hay. 3 weeks old lambs burrow into it and fall asleep. By late afternoon, the maple buds glow, faintly red. Buckets ringing from syrup spirals spill over into the snow. Now, we don't live close to maple trees that give syrup, but in the northern states they have them, and that's where your maple syrup comes from your pancakes. For your pancakes. The wagon stops along the edge of the wood. 2 by 2, the buckets are collected and emptied and then hung back on the trees. Before returning to the barn, the farmer pauses to watch the sunset. For the first time in months, the yellow light feels warm upon his face. So that's how he knows when spring is coming. The syrup is running and the sun is making him feel warm. Another book I thought would just be fun to read today is called Scribble Stones. Has anybody made painted stones yet? My friends do it for me, and I love them. I put them in my yard around my flowers. This story is about one happy stone who was very gray and round and rarely alone. He lived with the others all stacked in a pile and waited calmly with a large friendly smile. There he is. Each stone has a purpose, but it wasn't known yet. Some would be landscaping, some a stone pet. There were so many things that the stones could be. The hardest part was just waiting to see. Stone knew that his purpose would brighten someone's day. He just wasn't sure how or in what kind of way. He imagined the things that he might soon become as he watched all the stones get picked one by one. But his happy face slowly turned to a frown as he watched the tall pile start to dwindle down. And although he was worried, he tried not to care until it was clear he was the last one there. I'm not worried about him. Then it finally happened. Stone was quickly picked up. He was placed on a desk next to a very large cup. What do you think? I thought I knew, but I guess I don't. A stone looked around and he thought, this is so great, but he soon discovered he was a dull paperweight. I'm supposed to bring happiness, not hold paper still. This must be a mistake. This just can't be. And then all of a sudden, a splatter flew high, and then some bright scribbles came wiggling by. They were headed right toward the short paper stack, and they filled up the paper on the front and the back. They were all making art. It was happening so fast, Stone feared that the paper would simply not last. He couldn't believe just how much the pile grew. Then he heard a small cry from the fun splatter crew. We knew that this pile was getting too tall. There's no more paper. We have used it all. The scribbles all cried, and now they saw it too. This is a disaster. Oh, what will we do? Stone didn't want the scribbles to cry, so he thought of something that they could all try. He slowly rolled down the very large pile, and he said, I know how to make you all smile. I know I'm not paper, but I like art too. Do you think you could spare some red, yellow, and blue? They loved the idea and could not wait to start. Scribble began making a happiness heart. Splatter then painted some pale baby blue. Another scribble added a sunny gold hue. It didn't take long before Stone showed up, and soon the line grew behind the large red cup. To Stone's surprise, he was picked up once more. He had never heard of this happening before. Some art was added, and he was on his way to become a small gift to brighten someone's day. Look, they even put a little bow on him. Isn't he cute? Nearby, another stone's journey had begun. He was spreading such happiness and having great fun. Every time he traveled, someone added their part, sometimes just a scribble and sometimes fancy art. How clever is that? With each new layer, there was a story to share, and soon scribble stones were seen everywhere. They traveled the planet. It was quite an event, bringing happiness and fun wherever they went. Look, they're going all over the world because people are sharing them and giving them as gifts. Now, thousands of stone inspire creativity each day, all because of a paperweight with a will and a way. Look at all those cute stones. This is how it works. Stones are intended to inspire creativity and spread happiness throughout. Find a stone and add some art, a scribble, a splatter, or a happiness heart. Then give it away and let someone know that the scribble stone makes happiness grow. It's so very simple and easy to do. Just add some more art and give it away too. Maybe you could go find some stones today and ask Mama or Daddy to help you paint them or chalk on them. That would be nice. I sure like mine. I put mine in my garden around my flowers and stuff. The last story today that we have is Fletcher and the Springtime Blossoms. Fletcher is a little confused today. I'll just let you know that. The woods were full of chirping, bustling, sing-song sounds of spring. Fletcher bounced along with his nose in the air, sniffing the just-burst buds of flowers and playing chase with the butterflies, with his head spinning with sights and sounds. He tumbled happily down the hill into the sunny orchard, but when he picked himself up from the ground, he couldn't believe his eyes. A soft breeze danced through the branches, carrying snowy flakes. Snow so late in spring, thought Fletcher. It'll be too cold for the buds and the butterflies. There's no time to lose. I can't believe it either. Looking for someone to tell, he trotted back up the hill and passed a pair of birds cooing on a branch. You've flown to your summer home too soon, Fletcher cried. I've been down by the orchard and there's more snow on the way. Then we should fly back south, they called, but first we must tell Porcupine. He's just come out of his bed of leaves. He needs to snuggle back down or he'll freeze. Fletcher and the birds found Porcupine stretching and scratching. There's a snow on the way, said Fletcher. I saw it in the orchard. It'll be too cold for the butterflies. The birds will need to fly south, and you must hide away. Then I should crawl back into my nice warm bed. Oh, but first we must tell Squirrel that he needs to hunt for food. He's eaten all his winter food. He'll need to find some more. Fletcher, the birds, and Porcupine found squirrels scampering after sunbeams. Snow is blowing in from the orchard, said Fletcher. It will be too cold for the butterflies. The birds will need to fly south, and poor Porcupine must go back to bed, and you must find some food. You're right. I've eaten my spring feast, said Squirrel, and all my stores are gone. But before I hunt for more, I need to tell the rabbits to munch as much grass as they can before the snow falls. Fletcher, the birds, and Porcupine and Squirrel hurried off again. The rabbits were rolling down the hill next to their burrows. Stop playing, said Fletcher. There's snow blowing in from the orchard. It'll be too cold for the butterflies. The birds will need to fly south. Poor Porcupine must go back to bed. Squirrel needs to find food, and you must munch more grass. Before we eat, said the rabbits, staggering dizzily to their feet. Let's go play in the snow. I think that's a good idea. So the rabbits Hippity-hopped and polly-plopped down the hill through the woods. They were chased by squirrel and porcupine and the birds and a bouncy full of importance fox all the way to the orchard when the ground was white with dun 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 dun. What is it? Blossoms! Blossoms bobbing on the branches, blossoms blowing in the breeze, blossoms blanketing the ground, and not a snowflake to be found. Those are blossoms, not snow, you foolish fox, the animals cried. Fletcher blinked and rubbed his eyes, feeling so very silly. But then the animals scooped up pawfuls and clawfuls of blossoms from the ground and covered them in a trickly shower of fluttering white petals. Fletcher and his friends ran and played between the trees until at last they all collapsed on a blossomy, soft white heap. The birds fluttered back to their branch with beakfuls of blossoms to line their nest. Porcupine snuffled off up the slope, his quills dotted with tiny white specks. Squirrel went chasing up and down trees after snow-white petals dancing in the breeze, and the rabbits bounced back up the hill with blossoms to brighten their burrows. But Fletcher just lay smiling in a soft bed of petals, watching the blossom branches bobbing over his head. Look at that. Doesn't that sound peaceful? I could take a little nap out there, could you? So Fox, even though he was a little bit mistaken about snow and snowflakes and blossoms, he ended up having a fun day with all his friends and animals too. I can feel the snow on top of this, or the petals on top of this book. You might have to check it out sometime. Let me show you the pictures again. Doesn't that sound fun? I hope you all have a nice warm spring day coming up soon at your house. And maybe the trees will start blooming and you'll see the blossoms coming down too. Bye.
Hello, boys and girls. How's everyone on this fine spring day?
Well, hi, Danny. How are you? It's been a while since I've seen you.
Hey, Callie. It's been a long time.
It's been a long winter, but spring is here now.
It sure is. I'm so ready for the return of warm weather.
One of my favorite things to do is to lay in the warm sun.
Me too. I love to take afternoon naps.
So, Danny, do you have any vacation plans this year?
Yes, my family's taking a camping trip to the mountains this spring, and I get to go along. I can't wait to run through the mountain woods and smell all the new smells. It's going to be my dream vacation.
Wow, that sounds like fun. My family is going to take a vacation too. They're going to see Grandma. She lives by the beach. I'm not sure if I get to go or not. If not, I'll stay home. I really don't mind doing that and watching the house.
I do mind. I don't like to be left at home. I love to be with my people.
I know, you dogs are very needy.
I know. What? We are not.
Just kidding. You are more than capable of taking care of yourself.
Well, maybe not. I do need my people to take care of me.
Well, what's your plans for the rest of the day, Danny?
Well, Callie, I was thinking of taking a walk around the farm to see if any new flowers are popping up. Would you like to join me?
Sure, I love to take walks.
All right. Well, we'll see you later, boys and girls. Hope you have time to take a walk outside today. Bye.